Welcome to another edition of Not Echoes. 18% already. Not bad. I know, Matter. I feel the same way. Also, it feels really dark in here for some reason today. I wonder if the light up there above my head is dimming. It seems like... So I have dimmable lights in my house, and it seems like no matter where I set the like dimmer, it always falls down over time. So I'm looking at my camera and it looks dark to me. Let me try and fix it quick. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay, we're going to test this. See if this is any better. That looks more normal. Cool. Go with that. Much brighter, yeah. That's what I thought too. Also, I might be not as enthusiastic on stream at the moment. My voice is falling apart. So try to keep it down. Is this save point connected? Oh, we beat the boss that was in this zone last night. Yeah. Whoops. Pretty sure I picked no. Okay. Weird. Guess it still replenished my... Brio. So I attacked that thing. I think we need to get to the air dock, maybe? But I matter. I have to agree with you, though. The amount of streams that I've been watching this weekend is much higher than normal. I was watching the Smash and Splash tournament. I watched a little bit of the speedrunning stuff that they had there, but not a lot. And then Tonic went live with Danganronpa again. He is live with that game every time I'm streaming. I would love to watch more of that, but I'll just have to catch the VODs. Yeah. Fortunately, like, Danganronpa is still fresh enough in my mind that I don't feel I have to reread it. So, like, I'll tune in for probably, like, the court cases and see how he does on those, but... Or the class trials, you know what I mean? But the investigation stuff I'll probably just skip if I'm not catching it live. Yeah, I guess he cruised all the way through case 1. So when I started streaming Danganronpa, I tried to do the entire chapter in one stream. And it worked for most of the first game. But then after that, like Danganronpa 2 and 3, I much preferred to... Well, I split it into 2 streams, so I would do like the afternoon, I would do the investigation, and then I would do the class trial in the evening. Instead of trying to do everything all at once. It's not Echoes. Good evening and good weekend. to Magma Peach. Welcome to Not Echoes. A La Mulana playthrough. It's on my list of games I want to play. I don't know when, though. That's going to be a huge time commitment. Maybe when, much like my roommate, I also acquire 5,000 subscribers. Then I will have time for a La Mulana playthrough. Yeah, if I do La Mulana, it's going to be like 100 streams, because I just don't have enough time to like sit down and crank it out. Okay, so where did they want me to go here? Because there was a dead end over here. It was here. Yeah, I know that La Mulana is a really fun one to watch, from what I've heard, so... Tried my best to avoid paying too much attention to it, because I want to play it myself at some point. The sequel is coming to Twitch? You mean like Tonic will play La Mulana 2, or like people will get it free for Twitch Prime? Oh, Switch. Okay. Hey, what's up, Arcbliss? Classic first instead of remake. I mean, are they fundamentally the same thing, or is it very drastic? Because to me, if they're pretty much the same, I would... that's tough. I would probably play remake, just because it's probably more convenient somehow. They're mostly pretty similar. First 35 minutes of Classic was grinding money, and then I quit. That doesn't sound very fun. Okay, I don't have a heat door, so I can't go in there yet. But I can go in there, because I have Ice Beam. That's what we're going to call it anyway. Alright. Back in Brio. A lot of backtracking in this game. There's also a fire pit that I didn't see. Generally, I'm for quality of life improvements in games. There's a few exceptions, but I feel like part of it is because I'm getting to the point in my gaming career where it's like, if I don't start doing quality of life stuff, then I'm never going to get through all the games I want to get through. Honestly, I was watching Brown Man, Ray, Rooster Teeth Ray, who's playing the Castlevania collection, and I kind of liked his approach to it, which was, yeah, I'm not going to use save states until I need them. Then I'm going to use save states. And he made it through most of Castlevania 3. And he got to the end and he was annoyed, and then loaded some save states to get through it. Which, I don't know, like, I don't know if that's a game that you need to use save states to beat, but I can accept it. Like, I did it for Rockman and Forte because there's no way I was beating the King stages without save states. I'm not that good. Yeah, I know that people who like La Mulana Classic are like diehard fans of it, for sure. Okay, I need to see where I am. This looks like the wrong way. So where am I supposed to go then? Oh, I need to somehow get up there. But I can't because I need the heat beam. I don't have high temp beam. Is it not a concussive blast? Okay. Yeah, I think it depends on the game and the context. Like, for me, Dark Souls was the kind of game where I wanted to struggle through it. Like, when I played Souls 1, I had no idea what I was doing. I was very bad. And it took me way too long to beat everything. But it was rewarding. But then I'm looking at a game like Sekiro, and Sekiro drives me crazy because everything kills you in one hit. And you just spend the entire game blocking stuff, and it's so slow and aggravating, and I just don't want to play it. It's not Echoes. It's not Melee either. I feel like I missed the memo on what I'm supposed to be doing at the moment because I don't have the high temp beam, so we're not getting through any of this stuff. This is just dead ends for days. Yeah, BJW, I heard you got was it a PB in Prime 1? Or did I make that up? I don't know where I am. Ooh. Nice, congrats. I can't believe it's not Echoes. Yeah, I've made a couple of realizations just about gaming in general, which is there's not nearly enough time to play all the games I want to play. So the easiest solution to that is to just cut down on the number of games that interest me. You know, if I had infinite time, I would play everything. But I do not. $500 kills. That's an average game of Halo for me. The 500 kills. Get on my level. This is also why I don't play MMOs anymore, or especially like I do like multiplayer games, but I have not found one recently that I want to put a lot of time into. But like especially like Battle Royale stuff, I'm out on all of that because it's just like time I could actually sink into games that have substance. Is this actually going any higher up? I don't know what this is. I can't tell because the camera is goofy. I don't think this is going anywhere. Raise his rent and live off of him so I can play all day. I feel like if I raise his rent, he will just move. So that does not sound like a very wise thing to do. Although I will say this, I was thinking about just like my current job in general, and I don't know. A lot of my thoughts lately have just been about like purpose and like finding things that you enjoy in life, etc. And it's interesting to me, like, I don't think I would want to do full-time streaming other than, like, you know, it sounds nice on paper. But that being said, when I compare it to what I'm doing now, like, I'm not really getting a ton of fulfillment out of what I'm doing right now. So there's the part of me that thinks, like, well, and if that's the case, why wouldn't you want to just, like, try to do something that's, you know, that's fun? Now, I'm not saying that has to be full-time streaming, but the other piece of it is seeing so many people that kind of grew up streaming with me, if you will. Like, we're kind of all from the same stream era. And you see these people doing really well. It's hard not to think about it. But I'm not just going to, like, up and, you know, jump ship and commit to it. I want to do something stupid. But I think you get my point. Like, my point isn't, like, I want to be a full-time streamer. My point is more along the lines of, like, it sounds fulfilling as far as, like, relative to what I'm doing at the moment. You know, I think I would be more passionate about streaming. I do like putting in that kind of effort. Buying a house and switching to a risky venture, that's the other thing, too. 7 years ago, number SMW, yeah. That's the other thing, Arc Bliss. For every person who's, like, made it as a streamer, there are so many others who just, like, pour hundreds of hours into it and they get nothing out of it. And I think there's a certain personality type, too, that actually makes it big. You know, like, if I was ever going to actually try to make it big, full-time streaming, the only way I would have a chance is if I basically went back to Super Mario World. I feel like that would probably be the only thing that would... It's like... it really just, at the end of the day, it comes down to, like, viewer counts. Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. So you really like where you're at. That's good. So I don't know. My thing is, like, it's not that I don't like what I do, because I'm pretty good at what I do. Like, my programming job is fine, and I'm at the point where I feel like when I first started, I was very uncomfortable. I didn't feel like I could do it, and, you know, like, I had a lot of, I guess, like, imposter syndrome kind of things going on where I just didn't feel like I fit in. But now I'm at the point where I'm very comfortable and I can get a lot done, and also, like, I have enough people who trust me, and, like, they ask me questions and that sort of thing. So that's nice. But at the same time, I don't feel any, like, fulfillment out of the day-to-day stuff I do. Like, I can do it, but at the same time, like, whether or not I work on this project, it will just continue, you know, like, it will just exist. And that's a hard feeling for my brain to grasp, because I like putting effort into things and seeing them kind of work out in the long run, you know, like, that's why I love JRTA. Like, getting to work on JRTA, it was like, I am in charge of something, and I get to, you know, I'm not the only person that's working on it, obviously, like, there's a lot of people involved, but at the end of the day, I get to take responsibility for if it succeeds or if it fails. And, you know, then I can say, like, you know, this is something that I poured a bunch of effort into. That's the kind of stuff I really like. Okay, so this is interesting. I don't have a clue. Oh, I guess we gotta go that way. Okay, wait a second. So, how do I get there? Guess we're gonna go back this way. Cog in the machine. That's the thing. And, like, that's not necessarily a bad thing, you know, like, as long as I continue to work there, I'll get a decent paycheck, and, you know, I can't complain about that. It's more a matter of, like, is there something else I would rather do, even if it doesn't pay as much? And I believe the answer to that question is there might be. And it might just be a different programming job, you know, maybe it's in the same career or something. But there's a part of me that wants to, like, maybe consider going back to school for broadcasting or something. Not that I really feel like I need school for that. You know, I feel like it's so weird. I feel like streaming should count to some extent, you know, like, I know enough about broadcasting. I can walk into, you know, a radio station and operate everything just fine. But people like the degrees. It's hard not seeing something finished. So the thing with my project is that it's sort of like a mammoth project. So it's not ever technically going to be finished. It's just going to never stop being developed. And so that's good in the sense that, like, there's always going to be work to do, and I'll never have to worry about, like, oh, we ran out of work, you know, this project is canceled. But it's bad in the sense that there's no like light at the end of the tunnel, right? You're just constantly adding something to it. Whereas, like, if you worked on something, not saying that I would want to work for, like, Discord, because you've seen the Discord newsletters. I don't want to work for them. But at least you would be able to, like, implement a feature there and then, like, see people use it and hopefully enjoy it. You know what I mean? I like to see that people are enjoying the effort that I put into something, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't know why it's not locked onto that guy. There we go. Yeah, dig dug. I get that. Like that's fair. I think part of the problem is that like what's the way to put it? Like yes, it makes like people's lives better, but wait, I don't know how to word this. Like I have an opinion on this, but I don't know how to say it without saying it incorrectly. I think a lot of it for me boils down to being able to personally connect to whose life I'm improving. And for as long as I work on this product, I will never meet somebody who actually uses it. So for me, like, there's no human connection to it. If that makes sense. Oh, I think I'm supposed to grapple this, probably. But I mean, I do like programming, and I feel like I'm pretty good at it, and I can, you know, when I want to code something, I can do it, which is pretty, you know, a great spot to be in, because when you're fresh out of college, you're still trying to pick up on a lot of that stuff. But I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on a lot of the major aspects of programming now. And if I don't know how to do something, I like know how to find the resources to do it. Unless it's assembly, then I just ask Tonic, but you know. Where is this? But I think that's part of the reason the idea of streaming appeals to me in a certain sense. Like, I really just don't feel like it's a practical thing to commit to. Like, do I think people would support me if I tried to do it? I believe there are people who would. Do I believe that it's enough to feel very confident in doing it? Probably not. But I would probably get a sense of fulfillment out of what I do, because I would be very motivated to put in a lot of effort and, you know, stream some good stuff. Actually, one thing I want to do, whether or not something like full-time streaming would occur, I want to do a series of videos where I explain a lot of just like mechanics of streaming. Almost like a handyman type show, but for streaming. Is this another one of those stupid things where they reset the flippers? Why does this game do this? I don't get what's going on here. Cannot use the command visor while it is active. There we go. Nice. We survived. At my previous job, I worked on products where not only would I never know the customers, the products made their lives worse. That sucks. Yeah, that would not fly with me. I do feel like, yeah, there's something to be said for working on something where, like, A, you're passionate about it to begin with, but then B, like, you get a sense of satisfaction out of improving it. For a while, like, out of college when I was starting, I didn't care. And to me, it was just like, you know, I just wanted to make money. And so the first year or so of my job, I was very, like, apathetic towards what I was working on. And, you know, I didn't really care if I got promoted or if I, you know, just generally, like, I didn't care what, like, my status in the company was, basically. I'm starting to value that a little bit more. But I definitely think one of the downsides of working for a large company is that you are sort of, in a lot of ways, just a number. You know, if you quit, they can replace you. Okay, what do we got here? We just move on now, right? Yeah, all the companies I've worked for have been large, so maybe I should try working at a small company sometime, such as Go London Streaming LLC, size of 1. But honestly, what I was thinking about, and I was actually giving it some actual consideration instead of just, like, joking about it. I want to make a platform. Hello? Make a platform. That was weird. Now I need missiles. I was kind of hoping these would spawn missiles or something. What was I saying? Oh, streaming. So one thought I had was, if I ever wanted to actually consider doing the streaming route, one thing I would do differently than the way everybody else does it is I would actually save up money first, so that if it doesn't work out, you can just fall back onto getting another job somewhere too. So I'm not saying I would ever do it, but if I was going to do it, that would be my plan. You know, save up enough money to be able to, like, live for a year. Because I see a lot of people do it where, like, they'll announce on YouTube or something like, oh, I'm dropping out of college to do this. And to me, that's dangerous. You're risking too much. And a lot of them end up being very successful anyway, so, you know, good for them. Oh, those break over time. Interesting. Also, I think one key difference between myself, like my stream, and what would be a popular stream is I don't just float to the popular games. So, like, I'm not going to stream Mario Maker 2. I'm not saying it's a bad thing if you do that, but, like, I'm not the kind of streamer to do that. You know, if it interests me, I'll do it, but I'm not going to play a game just to be the one playing that game. stream 1 when 2 comes out. That's funny.
Data received.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You know, whether it's streaming or like a different career path or whatever, just having a nest egg so that you can feel comfortable doing whatever it is you want to do. You know, if I wanted to go back to school for broadcasting, I'd want the same thing. You know, I'd want to have money saved up and feel confident that I could go do that and not feel like I'm putting myself at risk.
The destruction of the generators has disabled the Leviathan shield. The seed is now exposed. You must fly there and
Okay, so this unlocked the other fly point, I think. That was weird. Way to backtrack just for that. I don't love that mechanic. There's a lot of backtracking in this, and maybe it was just the sequence that I did things, but I made it all the way to that room last time, then I had to leave. Generator destroyed. I should probably heal. You know there's going to be another fight. The space pirates always show up. Probably not going to make it back alive. I wish these platforms lasted more than 3 seconds. No, not fuel gel. Scan the enemy. Gel ray. Yeah, I look back and it's funny to me, like, not to say that I couldn't still do it if I wanted to, but if I had done it at the time, I feel like I could have been a full-time streamer when I was big. You go back like 4 or 5 years ago, but I didn't want it. I was more embarrassed than anything. Like, I had 1,000 people watching me play Mario World, but there were better players. And it felt weird to me. And, like, now I don't think I would think twice about it. Like, if people want to watch somebody, they want to watch somebody, but at the time, I was just, like, really embarrassed. After HDQ 13, could have made it. Maybe. And that's not to say that I couldn't still be successful if I put in a bunch of effort, but I feel like that was such a jump start, you know? Like, that would have put me so far ahead of, like, where I am now, for instance, right? But yeah, at the time, I mean, I was pulling in more viewers than I'll ever see again. But honestly, I like the smaller streams too. It's nice to be able to like have a conversation in chat. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm complaining about viewer count or something, because that's not the case. If I wanted to go big, I would try to go big, but I'm enjoying the chill. Yeah, honestly, I was getting similar viewer counts to Worcester, which blows my mind, because that guy's game knowledge is probably about 1,000 times more than mine. But yeah, if I played SMW, I was averaging, 1,000 viewers a night, which was just mind-boggling. Especially for like 2013 Twitch. I mean, you compare that to now. What would like viewer inflation? Is that a thing? What would viewer inflation be? Because I feel like 1,000 stream viewer back then is the equivalent of maybe like a 1,500 or 2,000 stream now. There were very few that were hitting numbers like that. Do you want to save? Yeah, that makes sense too. I mean, I like watching some big streamers. I would say that I don't watch a lot of them. It really depends on the person and like my purpose for watching that stream. Almost never do I watch a large stream to chat about something. I fully expect if I tune into, say, Trihex or Brown Man or somebody like that, I fully expect that whatever I say in the chat's not going to get read by anybody, right? Or if it does, it's not a conversation. It's like I'm throwing something in the chat because everybody else is. But like I watch Brown Man stream because I think everything that man says is hilarious to me. And it's not so much like I expect that I will be a participant in his channel when I'm there. I'm really just like watching because he has an entertaining way of playing games. Mega Man 6. I don't really know what to say about Mega Man 6. I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with what I did with that game, but I also got burnt out on it so badly to the point where like even seeing the game played, like I remember at GDQ I was really dismissive for a while about that game. Like there were people like Dark Terex and Peapot were playing it, and every time I would see it in the practice room, I was just like I wasn't mad at them, but I was just mad to see the game because I was so burnt out on it. Yeah, exactly, BJW. Mega Man 6 was proof that I didn't want to be a full-time streamer. And actually, okay, Mega Man 6 was proof, but then Dryer was like definitive proof. Dryer was the nail in the coffin. Hey, what's up, Checkers? I think for me, the biggest thing with Mega Man 6, like, it was cool to... I don't really feel like I was pioneering anything, but it was cool to have a goal and, like, beat it. Like, I wanted to beat Tiki's run, because... Especially around that time, like, Tiki and I were hanging out pretty frequently in each other's streams and, talking a lot of StarCraft and stuff. So it gave me... I died there? I do not understand how that works, because I just spammed the beam to try and get out of it. We're doing all that again. But yeah, it just like gave me a goal to go and beat. And then the race at GDQ was like icing on the cake. I still can't believe... I don't know how this happened. I don't feel like I deserve this, but I'm like one of a select few people who are undefeated in GDQ races. Thank you very much. And by races, I mean more than one race. Your boy's 2-0. Totally got lucky against Garrison, by the way, because I got better RNG than him, but defeated the webcam. That's true. I think Garrison actually deserved to beat me in that BCAS race, but he got bad RNG. Would it be okay if I gave a hint on how to avoid deaths like that? If it continues to annoy me, I'll ask for it, but I don't think we lost too much progress here. It worked for me in the other situations to... Oh.
The destruction of the generators has...
Oh, I thought we were going to get another hint.
You must fly there.
Yeah, I might ask for help on that in a little bit, but for now I think the key is to just spam the gun. That's what it worked. It seemed to work for me before. It's nostalgic for you, Checkers. It's a totally different streaming era too. Like, I feel there's such a shift, and it's so noticeable to me, being somebody who was around since like the Justin days, and even before then, like when Ustream was still bigger or like equivalent to Justin. It's so different now. Everybody that's big is sponsored. You know, they're wearing the jersey with the 12 different companies on it. And they have like these in-person like greeting sessions, like meet me, I'm the famous streamer. And like TwitchCon, I've never been to TwitchCon, but I imagine that's all it is. It's like giant networking event. But it's such a different, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like I don't want to say like shame on you if you like modern Twitch, because I really do think that Twitch is it's developed into something that we all wanted it to be in a lot of ways. Whether it's exactly what you want or not. I mean, Twitch has come a long way. But it's just different. That's all. Like, do you remember when Trihex was a member of the Metroid Hunters crew? Only 2010's streamers remember. Luzuhara, yeah. Luzuhara Mugiwara. I can't even say his name. I've seen it. I can spell it, but I can't say it. Luzuhara Mugiwara no Ian. I think I went the wrong way here. Because I already beat this, right? That this was saved, so we need to get out of here now. Which way is that? That's the way we're going. Okay. Yeah, so like I don't want to make it seem like I'm dissing people who have, you know, adopted the modern culture of Twitch, because I feel like that's just part of the evolution, right? Like if you adapt, then that's part of why you're successful. Like I think Pi is a great example of that. Like I think Pi got a lot of crap when he first started trying to become full-time and, you know, really adopt some of his, you know, like, I mean, really, if you think about it, he used his marketing techniques and you know, he was a marketing major to begin with. And I think he's really capitalized on a lot of things that other people could be if they wanted to. They just don't know how to do it as well as he does. Yeah, and that's the other piece of it too, BJW. So part of the reason that I was against it, I mean, it was very taboo. Like even just to get subscribers, like people were mad if your stream had subscribers. Like how dare you get to make money? Like what makes you so special? And at the time it was kind of unfair because it was almost hand-selected streams, you know? I think like I was maybe one of the first few streams from speedrunning to get partner. And before me, it was like Poxnor. And maybe, I think Worcester probably had it too, and maybe Trihex as well. Yeah, it was a very anti-culture of like, how dare you try to make money off of what you're doing. And I think that plays into the psychology of it a little bit too. You know, like for me, I already thought, you know, getting a bunch of viewers, it was very uncomfortable because, like, to me, at the time, you know, I was thinking, how come you guys aren't watching Dram or, you know, these other runners who are way better at the game. And to be fair, like Dram got a bunch of viewers too, but seriously, at the time, I had 1,000 viewers every time I played Mario World. It's like, I didn't understand it. It didn't make sense to me. So, I kind of shied away from it. The Wobblers? I don't even know what happened to them, yeah. Big explosion. Variety streamers, probably. I do think if you're going to try to be a successful streamer, that variety has to be a piece of it, you know? Very few people can stream one game and last. I mean, look at Siglemic, right? You either get burnt out on the game itself, or the viewers get burnt out on it at some point and they leave you for something else. ZFG is like one of the rare instances where that guy can just play the same, you know, game or games, and he'll be around forever. Fortnite's on the downswing. I would think if I wanted to get into full-time streaming, what I would have to do is, I mean, I feel like DP's got it figured out, right? The way to do it is, well, first of all, like, you have to be entertaining in some way, like whether that's your voice is entertaining, your personality is entertaining, you're very good at games, that obviously helps. You know, your natural ability to just cruise through a game. But I also think you have to kind of plan it out and say, you know, these are the games I want to play. And the nice thing is that the library is so large that, you know, in theory, you'll just always have stuff to play. Yeah, I just feel like you can't stick to one thing, you know? Like, if you want to speedrun, that's great, and you can do it. But if you commit to doing that full time, you're going to lose part of your audience, too. And honestly, I think that's something Trihex struggles with. I always use Trihex as an example because I feel like most people can relate to him. Like, whether or not you're a fan of him. It's like, he is stuck because he has lots of ideas for what he wants to do, but he can't pull himself in any one direction for too long. You know, if he goes away from Yoshi's Island for too long, he loses the Yoshi's Island people. But then he wants to do, like, political streams, and so then he starts doing those, and he pulls in, like, a political audience. And then, you know, it's like you have all these different ideas, these podcasts and these games you want to play, and you're just, you know, there are people who will watch you do no matter what you do. But at the same time, if you try to do too many different things, then it can be tricky. It's like you have to be able to do variety, but you can't do too much. You know what I mean? I don't know how to, like, word that, but you need to find a balance somehow. I think if I was ever going to do streaming, it would be focused more on playing a lot of different games. Like, I wouldn't even want to play the same game a bunch, you know? Like, the best times in speedrunning was just racing, honestly. Like, finding a game that you and a bunch of friends enjoy playing and racing it, getting better together. Like, Friday night Super Metroid races were some of my favorite streams. It was the same group of 30 or 40 of us for 2 or 3 years. And just, like, always counting on the fact that Danich and I were going to finish around the same time. This is looking ominous. Full-time Prime Rando. I feel like if you wanted me to be a full-time Prime Rando streamer, I'd have to get good. That might be too much of a task. Mega Man 6, Dryer, and B-Cast. There we go. All right, I'm going full-time, everybody. Let's do it. And I go live with Dryer, and they just throw all the bits at me. Dryer with 5K viewers. Wonder how many subscribers Ninja would lose if he went live with Dryer. I'm guessing it's in the in like 5 digits. This is looking bad. Like I'm gonna get corrupted in this zone. Too much phase-on stuff here. Don't think today's kids are down with the 8 bits. This is also true. Not even the kids. It's like people our age. A lot of my friends at work, we start talking about a game, and the minute they find out I'm talking about a game that has, you know, 16 bits or less, they don't care. Like I was trying to show some coworkers Baba, and I was explaining the concept for it, and they're like, "Oh, that sounds really cool." And then I show them what Baba looks like, and no interest, just none whatsoever. Oh yeah, like lifelong gamers. But so many people like put their, it's so bottom of the barrel. Like people's opinions of games now, it's like, does it have good graphics? Like why do you care? Shouldn't the number one thing in a game be gameplay? I don't know. Is it just me? You can have the worst graphics in the world and have good gameplay. The exposed center within this mass appears to be its vulnerable point. I broke it. This looks like Final Fantasy 9 or something. What we got going on here? Graphics matter in a multiplayer game? Yeah, I could see that. Man, what else can we talk about? I feel like we were on a nostalgia trip for a while there, and then I got sidetracked by my own thoughts. Oh, this is going to be a boss. BGW SMRPG. Let's talk about BJW Mega Man X2. Anybody remember those times? This is looking like I'm not going to beat it first try. Okay. Alright, I'm fighting Exodia. Orbs appear to be the source of power. Isn't that the truth? Oh, it's just like the Prime 1 final fight. Oh, I need to be able to attack all of them. Probably. Can't see what I'm doing either. no idea if this is working or not. I'm not doing so great on the HP. Oh, he's charging me now. Cool. I need to look out for that. I wonder if I have to go into Super Saiyan. Alright, I'm going to give you guys some throwback streams that I remember very fondly. Here we go. We got Cypher's Week of Mario RPG. It was the first time I remember somebody like actually going in on a game for a long period of time. You guys are never going to remember this person, but I always think of Spike Black. Used to do late night any percent Super Metroid, and it was every night, like on the hour. You'd tune in at like 10 o'clock. Reflected Donkey Kong Country 2, sometimes featuring the Juice. Ref DKC2 was my nightly stream for a solid year. You got Membu with 96 exit and his comfy blanket and his crazy attitude. Yeah, back when he was only crazy, not insanely crazy. Yeah. I think I have to be Super Saiyan for this. I can't turn my Wiimote. It won't let me turn. Makes it hard when you have to actually be able to aim. Oh, it's his shoes. Is it the shoes? It's like the King K. Rool fight in Donkey Kong Country or something. Or Donkey Kong 64, I mean. I think we're going to be redoing this fight, but... Oh, what is this? Is he, like, manifesting something? That looked bad. Oh, anything Giano, yeah. Giano and Sicko. They could stream nothing. They could just go live and talk, and it was interesting. I'm probably dead. I think it's kind of hard in this game to dodge anything, too. Partially because of the motion controls, but... It's interesting to me that you can't lock on to the orbs. They expect you to be able to manually aim this. They don't stay open very long either. I would say, given this game's emphasis on motion controls, they do a lot of things with small timing windows that expect you to just be able to piece it all together. There was that other fight too where you had to like go behind the enemy and then grapple him. They didn't give you a lot of time to do that either. I'm not gonna attack him. He's got the King K. Rool laugh. I'm even gonna lock on because I don't feel like it's helping. Every time I'm actually able to hit his shoulder, it's not open. And he closes it when I get close. What if I don't have enough energy to do Super Saiyan, then what? Oh. What was that? Wish I could tell what was going on. This boss is very confusing. I want to figure him out so that when I retry, I'll have a chance. But I'm not gonna make it. I don't know why that works. I gained health somehow. I have no idea what's going on in this fight, I'm not gonna lie. There's so many elements to this. This is reminding me of Boost Guardian from Prime 2. There's just like 100 things going on, and I don't understand any of them. But it's kind of cool. When his mouth opens, you can hit him. Then what? Then he just unfreezes anyway. Doesn't do any damage. And the orbs keep healing too. We'll figure out how to heal. Somehow it's generating HP. Why did it reject that? Alright, I'm just going to let it die because I'm exhausted. All right, I want to go through what you guys were saying. I'm more interested in the chat than this boss. Let's see. I got to go back and see what I missed. Okay, this is a good point. I loved speedruns for 2 years because it was new ways to play old games, and now I just don't care as much. So, how do I feel about this? I think I'm in the same boat. For me, it's a combination of things. Like when I first discovered speedrunning, part of the appeal was that all of a sudden, all of these games that I was really into as a kid, they had new significance. And so that was exciting to discover that, and like to discover that there's a community of people who still play some of these older games that I do too. So that was exciting. And I think when speedrunning first hit, the appeal of it was more of the chase for the record and also like your own self-improvement. And you know, there was like speedruns live was a big thing, so the racing community was still very large and people would just pick up games to play them instead of feeling like they had to be a pro at it. So like the racing culture of it was really cool. But it was like these iconic games were first getting exposure on Twitch too, you know, like Siglemic with Mario 64 was a huge deal and sort of developed this culture of like trying to get the record and you know, really appealing to an audience and making it exciting to watch the same thing over and over again. But as you get into it more, like for me, part of the burnout is we sort of you hit a point where like you've seen every run that you've wanted to see, right? There are new games and it's interesting to I'm more interested in those personally, you know, like when Odyssey first came out, seeing how that evolved was pretty cool. And it's always cool when something new gets discovered in a game. But up to a certain point, like when I first started going to GDQs, I was in the marathon room a lot and I was interested in watching as many runs as I could. And the analogy I give now is like, now when I go to GDQ, I want to spend as little time as possible in the marathon room. You know, I want to be hanging out with people. That's the real reason to be there. It's like, you know, we have this community of people and I would rather spend my time with them than, you know, I can watch GDQ at home like, once it's over. But yeah, I don't know. Speedrunning, like I don't hate it. I would say that I was more interested in it, you know, 5 years ago. And obviously I've had a lot to do with speedrunning over the years. You know, we did 112 episodes of a podcast about it. So there was plenty of stuff to talk about. I think part of it for me too was just like losing that connection to GDQ. That was a big bust for me. You know, I wasn't necessarily speedrunning all the time. Like I did occasional runs for GDQ. So I wasn't attached to that piece of it so much, but like actually getting to be involved through a skill that I have. Like I think getting to host and read donations and do interviews and things like that really added to the experience for me. And it was like, here's this kind of niche that I fit into in the community where it's not so much like I'm going to get a world record, because that's not going to happen, but I can talk to people about their experiences and that sort of thing. And so like I think I'm just kind of, it's not that I'm not interested in speedrunning anymore, it's just that I'm growing more distant from it. So that's kind of my take on it. I do also think though that a lot of modern speedrunning, it's just very different. The community is massive now. And the minute a game comes out, the people have already been running it for 3 months because they got a beta build. It's very different. Fiesel. Oh man, if Fiesel would stream again, anything, I don't care. Hyde lied. I miss Fiesel. Fiesel puts in so much effort into speed gaming. You guys don't even understand. It's a shame that speed gaming doesn't make more money. That's my take. I think he does pretty well. I mean, like they're obviously able to have a staff now, and they put out so much content, and I just feel like the one thing that they're missing is that ability to, what's the way, like I don't know if market is the right word. I guess it's market yourself, right? Like I would love to see, like when you watch VG Bootcamp and they have those slides that play in between games where it's like, hey, if you're liking the stream, you should subscribe now and like get all this. I feel like speed gaming needs a live advertisement, because the only one they ever put up is that one that says, follow these 6 channels and check out our Patreon. I feel like they need an advertisement that says, like, here are the human beings you are supporting when you subscribe to speed gaming, because I want to see it succeed. I want to see it persist for the amount of effort he puts into it. And not just him, but like, all of speed gaming. I feel like that the community should want that to succeed. But it's also kind of hard to pitch that. Hodarubi video suddenly becomes available. Yeah, Hodarubi anything was exciting. I mean, seeing Hodarubi on camera, I don't know if we ever confirmed this. That was an exciting moment when he was butchering lost levels. I will never forget that. We were all so excited, and then he was just dying all over the place, and it was very comforting to know that Hodarubi is human. He did one of the live JRTA events. I feel like I would have known that if he did. I don't think he was in JRTA. I could be wrong. I don't have perfect memory. Oh, RTA in Japan. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, he was in that for sure. I think he was in the test one, right? Because they did an actual RTA in Japan, but then I think they did some sort of like proof of concept RTA in Japan before they actually did the real thing. I think. And I think he was in that one. Maybe it was the first RTA in Japan. I don't remember. I don't think he was at the actual thing though. I think Mocha did some sort of test weekend thing, and he was at that. Might be wrong though. Duckfist Mega Man 4 was a favorite. Yeah, Duckfist anything. Again, just like a really comfortable stream to watch. Also, I feel like Duckfist and I are very similar. I've had conversations with him about how you can contribute so much to something, and then you can kind of grow distant from it as a result of them not reciprocating. Like I think in his case, he was doing a lot of stuff with some of the technical stuff that GDQ used very early on. Like he was writing a lot of the programs for them and stuff. Then they reached a point where they were just too big. So like I can totally relate to it's sort of the revolving door of everything, and how it's kind of hard to want to stay connected. Giano and DP Mega Man 9. Yeah, I mean, Joke Crew in general. Tudos, Donkey Kong 64. I mean, he just did. No, it wasn't. It wasn't NLE, but he just did any percent at Smash and Splash about an hour ago. See. Sorry, I'm like really enthralled by this conversation. I was going to go back to playing Prime 3, but let's see what else you guys are saying. Will I ever do Notary Trilogy again? Notary? Like, do you mean Nonary games? Because it's the only thing I can think of that's like that. Probably not. I've read them. Let's see. Got Reed's interested in some speedruns after staying pretty far away for a few years. That probably helps. Like, I would say I'm not very involved in speedrunning anymore, other than 12-hour challenge. That's probably pretty much the only connection I have. But it doesn't mean that I'm opposed to getting involved again in some fashion. I just think, oh, a little bit of a clear tonic siren on the stream there. Did you guys catch that? That was a police siren all the way from New York. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to getting involved again in some fashion. I think for me, the big thing is I want to find a purpose and contribute something of value, which is, like Final Split, I felt like it had community value. So if I get involved again, I would want to do something like JRTA, community value, all about that community value, that CV. I want to do something I want it to be meaningful. I don't think me chasing records is very meaningful. When games were unoptimized and there were a lot of people contending for the record was the most fun. Yeah, that's true too. I think nowadays you tend to get, the one person who's just way above everybody else. Like when Honey and Nero and Sig were trading Mario 64, that was sick. And I guess nowadays, like, you still have, like, cheese and puncation and all of that. But I feel like I haven't kept up with it because, like, the more names that get involved over the years, it's just like I'm so used to the people that I first associate with the game that it's hard to kind of break out of that mentality. Used to be super hyped for GDQs, and now I don't pay attention to the schedule or anything. Honestly, me neither. Like the last couple of GDQs I went to, I didn't look at the schedule until I basically got there. And I think a lot of that has to do with I just don't go to GDQ to watch speedruns anymore. I go to hang out with people. I generally follow speedrunners after I see them play casual games because that teaches me more about whether or not I'd enjoy their personality than their runs. Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable. I think that's something that if we go back to like when streamers were first getting popular in 2012, 2013, that bugged a lot of people, especially people who were world record chasers. They would get really mad that these people who were like worse than them would get viewers. And a lot of it had to do with it wasn't like your content's not interesting. Like you're good at the game you play, but are you engaging at all in any like do I have a reason to root for you? So yeah, I mean I think that matters to a viewer, and that was part of when I was popular with SMW, that was part of what bugged me a little bit too. It's like, do I deserve this viewer count? And it was weird. Like, I don't think people have that mentality anymore of like, well, I have to deserve the number of viewers that I get or what, there's no stigma there, which is a good thing. Like there shouldn't be, if people want to watch you, they want to watch you. Let's see. Wow, I'm way behind on the chat here, trying to catch up. See people migrating to Facebook now. Is that true? I feel like Facebook gaming, I don't know anybody that uses it. But I mean, maybe. Feels more like a community, and it's easier to find people who share your interests. That's the thing. I mean, and the nice thing about speedrunning is that there are so many different sub communities within it where if you want to pick up a new game or get involved, like there's always an angle for you to get involved with people. And I feel like that's one of the many pluses too, is that, you know, unlike a fighting game where, you know, it's me versus you, and I have reason to withhold stuff because I want to be able to use it against you, or, you know, that sort of thing. It's more of a, and I guess you could do that in speedrunning too, but it'd be kind of scummy. But it's more of a like, we want to improve together sort of thing. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I've had a lot of these thoughts recently, and it's not just because I'm nostalgic for the old stuff, but I'm also trying to figure out, like, where do I go from here? You know, I don't know that it's my goal to be a full-time streamer, but I also don't want to give up on streaming interests, if that makes sense. You know, like if there is something that interests me and I want to go for it, then I want to have that avenue to be able to do it. And whether or not that's a career and making money off of it versus just like doing it because I'm passionate about it. Like I want to figure out what that next step is and be able to do it. I do think that I'm probably going to try to make content of some kind related to like starting a stream, tips for like I do all my own layouts and stuff. And I feel like there's a lot of stuff in OBS that people don't take advantage of that I know about and could teach. So yeah, it's like, what now? Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like a what's next? What's next for Go 1? I'll tell you what, one thing I've been trying to do is compile all of the stuff that I've done over the last several years. And you can check that out at golondon.com. Shameless plug. Check it out. You know, Universal Giant, I felt the same way, but I'm seeing things like, you know, Pi is able to buy a house off of streaming. I feel like if Used Pizza wants to, he probably is getting to that point, especially after that Pizza Fest. I think the bigger thing is long term. You know, it depends on how responsible you are with the money that you get, because you're going to make money now, obviously, but it's a matter of setting yourself up so that you're in a good spot regardless of what happens. The Twitch bubble imploding. I really don't think 1.3 million needed to buy a house. Yeah, that might be tougher. Helps to live in the Midwest. I do think that one thing that gets overlooked in that discussion is that you don't have to stream for your whole life, because you can transition out of it into other things. You know, like I could see streamers transitioning into jobs at Twitch or various gaming companies as a result of their experience with streaming. Yeah, Midwest homes go for like 200 to 300,000. And if you're making, you know, 10K a month streaming, even if you only do it for a couple of years, you can pay off your house. Affordable living, yeah. That is definitely a highlight of the Midwest. I do think we miss out on some things by being in the Midwest. You know, I think that the livelihood of like New York or California is probably, you know, something that we've missed out on by being in, you know, the suburbs of the Midwest. But cost of living sure is cheap. All right, we're gonna give this another try here. I'm gonna have to try and focus my full attention on this. I'm enjoying this conversation, though. This is what the Prime streams are really all about. It's not so much about what's actually happening in the game. It's not Echo, so it doesn't matter. Just like having conversation. The perfect just chat game. I will say this, ever since college, I've been asked by various people, like friends, family, like, how come you didn't go to California? And I don't know that I have a great answer, but I think the trade-off for me is just some of the inconveniences outweigh the benefits. Like, yes, if I moved to California, my salary would probably double, but my commute would triple or quadruple, or, you know, and I'd be living in a box. Cost of buying a house would definitely... Well, yeah, so I wouldn't be able to get a house for sure, but I'm just thinking cost of living, like, per month. You know, even if you're just renting somewhere, you're probably going to end up having a roommate, unless you want to pay $4,000 a month. The rent crisis is just unbelievable to me. Like, even in Minneapolis, rent prices are starting to just skyrocket. And that's not a high-demand area for tech or anything. It's starting to become one, but it's really not. But, like, Seattle is just imploding. San Francisco's been bad for a long time. Toronto. I think Lee SDA went to live there, and like that's where he got his job. And I remember he said something similar, where it's like, man, with the price of rent here, like I'm just gonna be stuck here. I think Portland actually is another one where it's just like crazy high demand. It's really funny, actually. I have a cousin who lives in Portland, and she's originally from Montana, and like a very conservative family. And she lives in Portland, and her job is, how did she word it? It's so funny to me. She's a, I'm gonna get this wrong. It's something like cannabis consultant. But basically, she organizes pot parties, and so whenever she's like explaining it to her family, she always like tries to use a more technical term to make it sound, you know, more respectable because she's afraid of like what they're gonna say. Like her literal job in Portland is she just organizes like conventions for cannabis. Which, if you think about, like, 10 years ago, that wasn't a thing. I don't know where she got that job. Before that, she was a reporter, actually, at a news station. So that's quite a shift. Moganar. If I beat this guy tonight, that will be an accomplishment. I was expecting to make some really good tangible progress tonight, but I'll settle for beating this guy. I wonder if I can reflect. Oh, that drops items. Okay. That's where the items come from. We're slowly starting to piece this together. I don't know why the beams close. Gotta figure that out. The homing missile is kind of inaccurate too. That did nothing. That was a waste. Ooh, that works. I wish they would stay open for just like a second longer. I don't feel like lock-on does anything against this guy. He repaired himself. Alright, stand closer to him.
He switches too much. I don't get it. Like, all of his beams are weak. Okay, we got to phase 2 again. Can't say I understand why. Without hyper mode, I don't think I would have done damage there, so I don't get it. Hyper mode feels like cheating. Maybe I have to use hyper mode. I don't like that it just gets to close when I attack it. Oh, it's down to half health now. Okay. I don't have any HP though. What the heck? Oh, great. This is the part where the boss gets 10 new attacks, so I have to figure them out. Oh, he has one on his back, too? Okay. I didn't see that before. I wish he'd stop cheating. Let me attack you. This is so hard. If I could use an actual control stick to aim, this would be fine, but this is not fine. I don't think this fight's supposed to take this long. They really screwed up the lock-on for this, though. Like, why does it lock onto his whole body and not the orb? can't wait for the chat explanation of this boss, by the way. After I beat it, when I do. Be like, oh, you dummy, you didn't do this. I mean, I think I understand the mechanics now. It just doesn't... It's like, why is it so annoying? It should be easier than this. There's like one more mechanic I'm not getting or something. I don't have enough energy to do hyper mode, so I can't kill him. Oh, that ice beam was going to get him. Lock-on disappears randomly. I don't get what this does. He heals whether I attack these or not, so... I don't know why that matters at all. This fight's really weird. I think I win when I attack all 4 of the orbs, but how do you break the orb? I was gonna call in an airstrike. Some weird, like, radio frequency thing above his head. And that looks suspicious, too. Orbs appear to be a source of power. Dude, enemies that have something on their back, but then you can't get around to attack it. Doesn't stay open long enough to do anything. I need a break. My wrists hurt. This is the worst part of Metroid Prime 3. You do anything for more than like 10 minutes and you just cannot play the game anymore. It hurts. Ow. I turned on corruption and not echoes. It's a mistake. All right, back to chatting. What are we going to chat about? What are some non-GDQ events that I should go to that somewhat relate to gaming? I feel like people have said, like, go to a PAX once just to try it, but don't expect too much. Okay, yes, Matter, you're right. I wanted to go to Smash and Splash because it is a 3-hour drive from here. I still could go tomorrow to watch the finals, I guess, but I don't know, like 6 hours driving in one day seems like a lot. But I actually really wanted to go to that, and it kind of snuck up on me. I didn't think it was this soon. I would love to actually go to that because it feels like a chiller event. Like, I feel like one of the problems with bigger fighting game events is that they have this prestige, you know? Like, if I go to Genesis, I'm expecting to lose 2 games of Smash and be done for the weekend, which sucks. Like, for the casual player like me, that's not very good bang for my buck. Like, I'm a spectator, basically. But Smash and Splash is kind of cool because people have been, like, ripping on this on Twitter, and I think it's a great format, but... So, like, they start with Swiss rounds. So everybody is guaranteed to play, like, 5 games. And then you get put in a bracket. There's, like, different brackets based on how well you do. So they have, like, the top 24 bracket. And then they have a silver bracket and a bronze bracket. And you get placed into one of those brackets based on how you did in the pools. So you're guaranteed to play a ton of games in the whole weekend, regardless of how good you are. I think that's pretty cool. And, like, somebody like me who's average at Smash at best... Like, I would love that. And it just seems like a really fun event. You know, it's at a water park. It's in this Wisconsin Dells. Very casual. But also competitive. And I wanted to play Splatoon. Or commentate it or something. Something Splatoon related. Would have been cool. Oh, Midwest Gaming Classic. I don't know that one. Not familiar. But anyway, the one when you said Tudos, I thought Smash and Splash because that's the one he's at now. I've been watching that all weekend. I think it's really fun. Yeah, it's in the Dells. Tomorrow is the championship day, so if you're near there, I think it's at. I want to say it's at a place called the Kalahari or something like Kalahari. I think it's Kalahari. And then I think spectator passes you can buy them like when you show up there. So yeah. Risk is that somebody throws their first 5 rounds, they grief in the bronze. I guess, but I mean, at that point, do you care? You know, like if I'm in bronze bracket, you're probably not going to win a prize for winning bronze bracket anyway. Usually they still only reserve the prizes for the top, you know, bracket. And if I'm a bronze player, I mean, yes, it'd be unfortunate to get a griefer, but at least I'm getting to play more than 2 games. You know, like if I go to any other tournament, I'm guaranteed to be 0-2 in barbecue, you know, like that's it. Except for Evo. Somehow at Evo, I won. I almost made it out of my pool in Smash. Back in the Melee days. Evo 2015, my pool was a bunch of Ganondorfs versus my Peach. And I just started knocking out these Ganondorfs one after the other. But I didn't make it out of the pool. Yeah, I would think that for the most part, people are going to play to win, you know. I mean, there's the occasional person who's going to do something like that, but you can't really control that. I just think it's a better format for casual fans of the game to enjoy it more. You know, novice players who are intimidated by tournaments, like the idea that they get to play beyond the first 2 matches. So, yeah, it's a cool event. I should have gone, but maybe I'll. Oh, here's the downside to Smash and Splash though. They charge way too much money. Way too much. I guess if you pre-register for it, it's like half the cost. But I think if you wanted to enter, like, keep in mind, like the money goes up over time. So I think if you pre-register early, it's only like $40 as a competitor, plus 10 per game that you're in, I think. But if you wanted to do like day of, like if I was to drive over there and be like, I want to play, it's like $90 plus 10 for every game. And then spectator passes are $45 for the weekend, which I think is ridiculous. Like, I don't care what gaming event you are, $45 for a spectator pass. Like, it better be, you know, the Dota 2 International at that price point. It's a little bit too much. Probably makes them pay a bunch to. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, it is at a water park. Now, yeah, if you can pay for a spectator pass and you get the water park pass, like that's good value. Yeah, I don't know if you can go swimming or not as a spectator. I would assume you have to be staying at the hotel to get a water park pass, but I don't know. Imagine watching Dota 2. The International is the only Dota I ever watch, and I don't watch most of the tournament. I just watch, like if it's on, I watch it. So I could not even tell you like where it takes place. I know it was in Seattle for a while. I think it moved to Canada, but I don't know. You know what I really want to do though is I want to go to South Korea and I want to watch me some live StarCraft. Who wants to go with me? I have been craving some live StarCraft. I want the full experience. Brood War. I honestly both. I am not opposed to either of the games. I played a lot of StarCraft 2 in college. I was on the StarCraft 2 team. So cool. We used to take our desktop PCs into the student union hall on the 3rd floor, and we lined up this table, and it was literally like a team house, like one of the Korean team houses. We would play StarCraft 2 all night against each other on the team and like in-house practice, and then we had matches against other schools. Super intense. It was really fun too. Yeah, see, that's the thing, BJW. We could watch KSL, we watch ASL, we watch GSL. But we have to get the schedule and figure out like when those overlap. That would be ideal. It's not the only thing I want to do in Korea, obviously. Like I want to sightsee too. But that like if I go to Korea, that has to be one of the things I go to. Gotta catch some StarCraft. All right, are we planning this? This is the ASL trip to Korea. I'm in. Sounds good. You know what the other thing is? You can never buy StarCraft merchandise unless you go watch the events live. Like GSL has merchandise, never sold online. You have to go in person. And then they just give it away to you for like showing up at the studio. I don't know why they don't sell it. They make a ton of money, but you can get like season specific shirts and stuff. I think ASL does the same thing. I don't know about KSL. Yeah, I would think you would want to sell that stuff and make money, but yeah, ASL hoodie would be so sick. I want that, or I want like an old school StarCraft jersey, because the only ones you can buy now are like Evil Geniuses and like who cares, right? Whatever. And like you can buy the European teams, but European StarCraft 2 is the equivalent of like Gold League Korea, There are like 2 good European players. This is why, this legitimate fact, the WCS in Europe has banned Korean players from competing in their tournaments for years now, because the Koreans showed up to those tournaments and just started taking all the money. That's so stupid to me. Like, just get better. You can't ban an entire country of people because they wanted to make their own European league. We need to have our own European stars. Well, get better. NA, yeah, I mean, NA is pretty bad too, but we at least allowed Koreans to compete when we were hosting events with some regularity. I think we just don't even exist anymore on StarCraft 2. I mean, Huck's commentating Overwatch now. So, if that gives you any idea what happened to North America StarCraft. Yes, KT Rolster. That is the jersey I want too. I think KT Rolster's logo is sick. I would be okay with getting an SK Telecom T1. That'd be all right. But KT Rolster's jersey is sick. Actually, and I want some of the old StarCraft 2 Team League jerseys, because I don't know if you guys watched any of Team League, but when that was around, Team League was the most fun. They did it for Brood War too, but StarCraft 2 Team League was sick. They would just pick a player to play against, you know, like you have to pick somebody from your team to go up against whoever won the last match. And so they'd have like this huge drama, like the camera would zoom in on all the players, like who's it going to be? Who's it going to, and they would like fake out, like some of them would like pretend to stand up and then it would be somebody else. And then if you win your match, like they'd go over to the other person's booth and just like thumbs down in their face, like trash talk. It was so fun. It was so sick. QXC all killed. I do remember that, yes. My favorite player to watch in GSTL was Choya, because Choya was this known cheeser. That's all he ever was capable of, and everybody knew they were going up against it, and they still lost to him anyway. So he would cheese them, and then he'd go over to their booth, and he would just rub it in their face. It was so funny every time, without fail. This guy was the best trash talker. And then when GSTL fell apart, they tried to recreate it with, I think it was called Star League. I think it was Star League. Maybe it was Pro League. I think, now I can't remember. It might have been Pro League. But it was the same concept. It was still really funny. They had team skits they would do when they were taunting the other players and stuff. Or like they'd show up wearing the crazy, you know, Tyrannosaurus Rex costume. What is this? The QXD all kill? I know they posted a lot of the old GSTL VODs, but I just don't ever go back and watch them. But Team League was the best part of StarCraft 2 by far. Like, GSL's good, and I don't mind watching it, but Team League was the highlight. Alright, my hands are better. We're going to try this again. I only have 50 energy, so I'm probably dead. Group watch the QXC all kill? Alright, so I don't know what the rules are for streaming other people's content, but if we want to rewatch the Team League, I'm all for it. We could do like a once a week. Let's rewatch Team League. I'm in. Make a hitbox account. But I don't know, you might even be able to stream it if you're doing analysis over it. I don't know. Isn't that basically what Trihex's whole stream is now? He just like watches other people's content and then talks about it? I'm pretty sure you can do that. Or maybe you can do it as long as Twitch staff doesn't want to ban you. I don't know. Go One reacts. Legitimately, BJW, there was a time when GSL was taking applications for commentators, and I thought about it. Because I did some StarCraft casting when I was a part of the team in college. I thought it'd be fun to go live in Korea and do some casting, but I also didn't have nearly the experience they were looking for. If you look at some of my old YouTube, like the oldest stuff, my initial streams when I started streaming on Justin and Twitch were StarCraft 2 commentary from like my team that I was on. Even if your game knowledge sucks, you do way better than Rapid. Yeah, that's fair. Mole Trap and Rapid were whew. Those are days you don't watch. You skip those. You skip those VODs. I cannot emphasize to you guys how fun it was to be on a StarCraft team. Like, I know it wasn't Brood War. Like, Brood War would have been ideal, But the popularity, like when I was in college, Wings of Liberty just came out, and it was a huge deal. And we had a team of like 25 or 30 people, and it was like no different than being on a sports team. Like we were just so close, and like we'd go get food afterwards, and it's good memories. Really, really wholesome memories. Everybody trying to make other players on the team better, and we held our own tournament at the college like once a year, and people from all over the Midwest would show up and play. It was really fun. Yeah, so in addition to StarCraft, I mean, the StarCraft team was a part of a larger, like, gaming club on campus. So we had gaming events too. Like they did a sleepover on campus in one of the university buildings. Like it wasn't even a dorm; it was legitimately like a classroom. That was a massive classroom, and everybody brought their computers in, and they had overnight tournaments for like Counter-Strike and Dota, Smash. It was sick. You don't get that post-college. Like that was like a college-only thing. The Day 9 daily, dude. I have not, honest to God, I've not enjoyed any of Day 9's content post the daily. When he switched off StarCraft, I felt betrayed. And I'm sure his content's fine, and he's entertaining enough that, you know, like he's knowledgeable enough and entertaining enough that he can make any game work, but he will always be the Day 9 daily to me. Yeah, I can see that too, BJW. It definitely isn't Brood War, like, and I don't try to pretend it is. You know, I definitely think if you want to talk about mechanics and skill gap and all of that, Brood War definitely has that over SE2. But I think in its own right, StarCraft 2 has developed its own. You know, Heart of the Swarm was the dark era. Nobody wants to remember that exists, but I think even now it's fine. It's gotten a lot better. I do not know how to beat this boss, you guys, and I'm sweating. All this Wiimote gripping has just started making me sweat profusely. The Sunday sequence break. Where do I even begin? There are a lot of reasons that I miss TSSB. I feel like the Sunday sequence break... How do you word this? It's a combination of things because... First of all, it's another Fiesel thing, right? So it's one more opportunity to get to hear from Fiesel, which we don't get to do anymore. But when TSSB was around, the whole community tuned into that show, man. I mean, everybody was there every week. At least when it was starting out, you know. Obviously, it was around for so long that it got to a point where it wasn't that way. But... It was really cool. It was like we all tuned into this documentary every week about some game. And it was fun to just see your friends on the record segment get to brag about like, oh, hey, I got this record this week. And I mean, it wasn't anything fancy, you know. It was, I mean, they did put in a lot of effort, and you could tell. But, you know, it didn't even really require videos a lot of the time for, like, the record submissions and stuff. A lot of times they would just go off the name of the game and the time and say, like, hey, congrats to this person on this time. And it still felt good. It was like, hey, you know, I did it. I got on the show. I remember somebody told me to submit my Harvest Moon, like, gimmicky run from the one where, like, you just go to sleep. And I think it got on. And I remember being like proud of it, but then also like it's such a gimmicky run. Like I can't believe that they talked about it in the first place. I don't think I ever got a legitimate run on there. Never got a true world record. I guest hosted it 5 times though, which is pretty crazy. I don't know how that happened. Maybe just because I was around all the time. Oh, I got him. Corrupted. Somehow I gained a bunch of health while we were chatting. That's true. I was definitely more popular back then when like TSSB was around. That's fair. But I guest hosted a lot more than I probably deserved to. I think it was usually like if Flicky needed somebody, he would ask me. I would say without TSSB though, I would never have come up with Final Split. It's like TSSB drove the motivation for me to want to podcast. I don't know how to get this guy. He's not opening up. Oh, I gotta break his feet. Forgot about that. This is gonna be close. Use the ball more. Uh-oh, he's playing guard again. Oh, what? Dude. I had him. Dang it. That took half an hour, too. Jeez. QXC time. Are we going to do bonus stream tonight? We're just going to watch QXC after this? You know what else I realized? I feel like a big part of why I love watching StarCraft 2 is the Tastosis banter. Like that makes it so much more watchable. Like even if I'm not watching the game, I'll just have their audio on because they're so enjoyable to me. They can talk about anything. It's like Artosis will say something like, you know, he's like, that's a lot of zealots there. That's a lot of zealots. And then Tasis is like, damn. You better watch out. Do you ever see that movie Alien versus Predator? Doesn't end well. It's just, I don't know. They just say the most. They make like a mix of like pop culture references, but then they just say stuff that's really weird and like it doesn't relate to the game at all. And it's good. Yeah. I just love the way that they word it too. It's always like, oh, he's beating up on some nerds, like it's just very non-conventional commentary, but it works and it fits like the whole StarCraft kind of I love that they put on the bottom of the screen most competitive 1v1 game. That's their claim to fame. Now, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Brood War probably deserves that more than StarCraft 2, but yeah, they make it so much more enjoyable. Yeah, I was watching last night too. They were literally just booing other people because they wanted a Terran in the top 8. Too many Protoss. I still watch. I've been watching GSL for, what, almost like 10 years now. It's crazy.
The destruction of the generators has disabled the Leviathan.
Okay, we're going to speedrun this boss now. What time is it? 10:30? I need to take a break at some point here because I'm actually just melting. I might need to switch shirts or something. We also don't have air conditioning because I called the guy to come out and look at our broken air conditioning, and he took one look at it and he's like, yeah, the air conditioner's fine, but it's a wiring problem and I don't do wiring problems. He's like, you need to call an electrician, and then he left. Real cool. Good friend. Okay. We know what we're doing this time. Maybe. Scan him. I can skip the cutscenes? Oh, snap. Did I get him? No. Alright, this is the attempt. We're doing it. Why won't he? he would open his hatch, I would kill him. This isn't fair. Open your stupid hatch. That was a stupid waste. This boss is obnoxious. I can't grapple him. Well, I thought download was complete, but now he won't let me damage him, so... Download paused. What's even the point? You won't let me attack you. Oh, big surprise. He won't let me go behind him. What was that lag? Ask me if I'm having fun. I'm having so much fun. Nice mechanic. I really am a big fan of the you die 5 seconds after you use the hyper mode thing. Oh. I need a break anyway because I'm melting, so I will be back in a couple minutes to the video game sauna. We'll see you guys back here.
Hello, I have returned. The worst part about watching us is we both leave for time the same. Okay, I guarantee you that was not coincidental this time. Or that was coincidental. That's what I meant to say. I do not order Grubhub in the middle of my streams. If I'm streaming that long, I usually cut the stream. Now, I went back to get a nice cold water because I'm dying. I'm literally, this is a video game sauna that we are in here because we don't have working air conditioning. So I just opened my window as far as I could. Probably should just bring a fan in this room too. All right, let us continue playing. Gotta figure out this boss. I don't get why it doesn't let me attack it. This is some Sekiro tier boss design. Oh, you figured out the mechanic? Well, have I got news for you. All right, you want to know my early opinions of Prime 3? Or should I save them until I am done playing the game? Because I have some hot takes on Prime 3 already.
The destruction of the generator. The seed is. You must fly there.
All right, you want the hot takes? Okay. Hot take number 1 is that Metroid Prime 3 is very linear. It feels like I'm being guided along this path, and I can't deviate from it. Hot take number 2 is that the motion controls are fun to an extent, and that extent is when my hands start hurting and I can't play the game anymore. Then it is not fun. Pretty common complaint. Yeah, I feel like Prime 1 and Prime 2, even though they sort of guide you along as well and tell you like where to go, there's a little bit more freeform to it. And it feels like here I'm kind of going through rehearsed hallways. All right, here we go. Remember nothing about this game. I do like the boss fights so far for the most part. This boss is annoying me because I can't figure out one more piece of the puzzle. You know what? Okay, so it grabs those orbs. But when I scanned those pillars, they weren't attackable. I wonder if there's a way to attack the pillars. I'm pretty sure I scanned the pillars and they were not... Yeah, the only thing I can scan in this room is this dude. Now, sometimes Prime cheats and things aren't always scannable. So, like, this could be damaged potentially. If I can get him to laser beam it or something. Maybe they don't even matter at all.
boss kind of reminds me of a Prime 1 boss, actually, but I can't remember the boss's name. It's the one that you fight in the ice dome. He rolls around like a golem. Yeah. I don't know why. It's kind of reminding me of that. Not exactly the same boss at all, but... I don't know. It has like a pursuit mode, and then it has a mode where you're like aiming at various ligaments. I think... I mean, they're not identical, but they have similar mechanics. Oh, it's not switching sides now. I don't know what causes me to get corrupted. Now we're back to the same problem I had before, though, which is it will never let me attack. Why does locking on in this game work like 20% of the time? That's bizarre. It never... The missiles are supposed to be homing too, but they never home in. Like, target his face. I really want to know how you're supposed to play this game, because I'm not playing it right, I know that much. If I had a second control stick, this would be so much more doable. Not a fan of the hip fire. Where is my pointer? Lock on not working. Lock on not working. There we go. I haven't figured out why the shoes matter yet. Assuming it just stops him from doing the charge thing. That's impossible to hit. Sit still, my dude. Just like spamming ice, hoping that he'll freeze again. Not even sure that will help me. Alright, this game jumped the shark. I'm gonna die again because I'm trying to stay alive with the hyper beam. Did I win? Please be dead. It's spreading. Okay, we're gonna find the save point, like, now. Uh-oh. That's... Samus, what happened? Why does she look like a... I don't even know. She doesn't look like a person. Moganar defeated. Tekken 1. Oh, I didn't scan the power up. Rip my percentage. Hyper Ball. I'm not redoing that boss for the scan, by the way. While in hyper mode, press C. Okay. To enter Morph Ball. Then use Hyper Ball. Don't make me do it now. Please just let me leave the venue. Please just let me leave the venue. Are you for real?
Press A to do something. I didn't read. I just wanted to press A so I don't die. GG. Roll the credits. Metroid Prime 3. That counts as a save. Mission success. We did it.
Brio is now saved from further phase-on corruption. Thank you, Samus.
Thank you.
Your next objective will be Elysia. Though Gore is stationed there, the Leviathan's phase-on contamination is still spreading. The impact point is hidden deep within the storm clouds of this planet. You will not be able to reach its location. Instead, you may land near an automated research facility floating high above the surface, where GF Aurora Unit 217 is stationed. Unit 217 has been infected by the corruption virus and is currently offline. I have uploaded a program to your suit that will purge any traces of corruption in the AU and restore its functionality. Once Unit 217 has been restored, it will help us find a way to destroy the Leviathan. We are concerned about Gore ever since he lost contact with us. We hope he is safe. Good luck, Samus.
Good luck, Samus. Alright, where's that save button? Ooh, shots fired. 28 saves. 36%. 27 hyper modes. Screen's funny to me. It doesn't. This just shows you like how annoying the sensor bar is. I can't hold the Wiimote steady enough for this to work. God. I give up. No idea what that just did. Elysia. Alright, we're gonna dock and we're gonna save. And then I'm gonna read the chat because I missed so much. What a stream. Who knew the boss would take the majority of the stream? And their chat... I'm liking these chat sessions. More interested in that than what's going on in Prime 3 at the moment. Coming in for a landing. Save. Save. Okay, we did it. We never have to fight that boss again until it's revived somehow. Okay, let's read the chat. What did I miss during the fight?
Samus, your highest priority is to get Skytown's Aurora unit back online.
Samus. Oh, we're talking about how BJW didn't get credit for his top 5 discovery of all time. I have not seen that. I'm aware of like YouTubers who do speedrunning content like that. I don't know what my opinion is. Like I don't know. Like, do people generally think that this is acceptable? I don't know what like is considered taboo on YouTube and not. Personally, if I was like referenced in a video like that, I would probably want to at least know that I was being used. I had somebody tell me at one point that they saw me in some cringe compilation, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, like, if you've gone to GDQ, you probably are inherently on YouTube somewhere. But it would be nice to know, at least, you know, instead of having, like, a random person tell me that they saw me in it. At least talk to me about it first. Man, that was a tricky boss, though. That had a lot of elements to it. That was a tough one. I never understood why it wouldn't open up and let me attack it, but I guess that's just how it was. I thought maybe there was some mechanic where I would be able to get it to stall longer, but even when you froze it, it didn't really last much longer. Yeah, I think I had most of it figured out. It just really an inconvenient boss. It's not that it took half a dozen tries. It was only like 3 or 4 tries, but each try took so long because I was staying alive for a long period of time, and then the boss just wouldn't let me attack it. I wish, in that fight, I wish it would let you lock on to the individual orbs somehow. Because freeform shooting in this game is not as consistent as you would want it to be. Especially for a boss that jitters that much. He just wouldn't sit still. That boss was about chatting, you're right. Scan all this stuff here. So this is Skytown. Alright, maybe this is a good stopping point because we beat the boss. Let's see. What time is it? Like a little after 11. Yeah, maybe this is a good point to stop. We'll pick up here tomorrow. I like that. It was a pretty chill stream. We got some chat breaks in. Talked about a lot of different stuff tonight. Very, very comfortable. Even though the boss was frustrating, it was a fun stream. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Hyper mode, yeah. One of these times I'll remember not to die when I'm in hyper mode. All right. I think so. Tomorrow's Sunday. Ooh, let's see. Trying to decide. I might go live. I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna do afternoon or not. We'll see. We'll see. Evening for sure. Should be able to do a stream in the evening. I don't know if I'm gonna do afternoon as well or not. We'll see. I have some stuff I have to get done. So, in any case, thanks for hanging out, everybody. It's a really fun stream. Just kind of reminisce and talk about streaming in general. I do think, I don't know, I think a lot about like what I want to do going forward with streaming, because I do really enjoy the casual stuff. Like I enjoy just playing whatever interests me at any point. So there is that. But part of me wants to step back up. Like I know I'm capable of stepping up, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying that has to be like a full-time streaming sort of thing, but I have stuff to contribute, whatever that is. Just got to figure out what the stuff is. So that's been itching. It's been bothering me for a while. Got to find out what it is. But in the meantime, we're going to keep playing Prime 3, not Echoes. And we need to watch that. We need to figure out if we can, if it's okay to rewatch GSTL on stream. If we do, we're gonna have to schedule that. All right. I think that's it for tonight. Yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more. But GSTL group watch, yes. Let's figure out if we can do that without getting banned by the Twitch cops. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Take it easy if I don't see you tomorrow, but hopefully I do. All right. Peace.